Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video we are going to be making these little peeps. They are 100% no sew. I did try and make them to look similar to a peep on the flatter side, but I do have an option at the very end if you want to stuff him a little differently and back loop crochet to make him so he sits flatter. So the video you will be watching, I will be doing in a number 4 yarn, but I have also tested it out in a number 6 yarn. You can follow the exact same pattern using a different yarn and you will get the same result, only a bit bigger. For the smaller bunny, I used a number 4 medium weight yarn and a 4.25 millimeter hook along with 8mm safety eyes for the eyes and 6mm safety eye for the nose. And then for the smaller bunny, I used a number 6 Bernat blanket yarn and a 5.5 millimeter hook. And then I used 12mm safety eyes for the eyes and a 10mm safety eye for the nose. This is a crochet along, so I will be doing every stitch with you, and I will also be providing a drop down at the top of the screen with the pattern instructions for the first 30 seconds of every row for you to follow along with. And if you enjoyed this or any of my other videos, please hit the subscribe button and click the bell. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video. Okay, I think that's everything. So grab your yarn and let's get started. Alright, we are going to begin with the ears, and you can start any way you prefer as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I will be starting with a knot with a loop on the end as if I was going to be making a chain. I'm going to insert my hook, grab my yarn, chain 1. Remember, that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, we are going to do 8 single crochets into the loop over top of the tail. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then pull your tail if you need to close that little hole in the center. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one, and for row 2 we are going to do 8 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Row 3, we are going to do 8 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Row 4, we are going to do 8 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Row 5, we are going to do 8 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Row 6, we are going to do 8 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Row 7, we are going to do 8 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And row 8, we are going to do 8 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we should have 8 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch and tie that off. Give it a cut. And then we'll just put that aside for right now. And we will start on the second ear. So again, you can start any way you prefer, as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. So I will be doing my knot with the loop on the end. So I have to insert my hook, chain 1. Remember, that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, we're going to do 8 single crochets into the loop. Oops, I'm grabbing the wrong piece here. 1, make sure you go over your tail. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Pull that tail if you need to. And then if you're using a stitch marker, we'll put that in. And for row 2, we are going to be doing 8 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Row row 3, we're going to be doing 8 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Row 4, we are going to do 8 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Row 5, we are going to do 8 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Row 6, we are going to do 8 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Row 7, we are going to do 8 single crochets all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And row 8, we are going to do 8 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we are going to join the 2 ears together, so grab your first ear and we are going to go right under where we tied off, so go into that hole under the knot. I'm going to get I got my string on the wrong side here. Okay. And you're going to start with 1 single crochet to join those 2. And we want to have 8 single crochets on one side, 8 single crochets on the other side for a total of 16. So that was 1. So in the next stitch will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now don't worry, whatever is going on here with your stitches, if you feel like you're missing one, just leave that for now. And we're going to go over to the other ear, see where your last stitch was, and we're going to go into the next stitch in front of that. Oops. And now we're going to do 8 single crochets around the other side of the ear. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now you're going to want to mark this row so you make sure you have the right amount of stitches. Otherwise, the rest of the rows will not work out in the right spots. So what you want to do, so I'm just putting my stitch marker across. You can just use a chunk of yarn if you don't have anything. This is our last stitch, and this is our first stitch. So for row 10, we are going to start with 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to do 2 increases. So in the next stitch, we're going to do 1 increase. So that's 2 stitches in the same stitch. And then in the next one, another increase. So that's 2 single crochets in the same stitch again. And now we're going to do 6 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to do our 2 increases on this side. So increase 1 and 2 in the same stitch, and then increase again 1 and 2 in the same stitch. And now we should have 3 single crochets left. 1, 2, 3. And that should bring us right back to our stitch marker for a total of 20 stitches. If you don't have 20 stitches here, just add or decrease however you need to get 20 stitches. Row 11, we are going to do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to do 2 increases. So 1 increase, a second increase, then we're going to do 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to do 2 increases. So 1 increase and a second increase. And then we should have 4 single crochets left for a total of 24. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Row 12, we are just going to be doing 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, excuse me, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 13 is just going to be 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whoopsie, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 14, we are going to start with 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to do 2 decreases. You can do invisible if you want. I will just be doing regular. So that's 1 decrease and 2 decreases. Then we are going to do 8 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to do 2 decreases. So 1 decrease and 2 decreases. And then we should have 3 single crochets left. 1, 2, 3. Row 15, we are going to begin with 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we are going to do 2 decreases. So 1 decrease and 2 decreases. Then we're going to do 6 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we'll do our 2 decreases on this side. So 1 decrease and 2 decreases. And then we should have 2 single crochets at the end. 1, 2. Now we're going to add the eyes. For the smaller bunny, I am using 8mm safety eyes and 6mm safety eyes for the nose. And for the larger bunny, I am using 12mm safety eyes for the eyes and 10mm safety eye for the nose. All right, so grab whichever eyes you need. And with the front facing you, so this is our back. I'm going to count on this side, and we are going to go down between rows 12 and 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So right about there. And then just grab your eyes and you're just going to kind of I kind of go down like this, kind of the same thing, and match the same row in with your other eye. And then they are about 3 holes in between. So they're about, so if this is stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the other eye is in stitch 5. And then I'm just going to put the nose 1 row down right in between the 2 eyes. So it should look like this. And just kind of double check. Your stitches could be a touch different than mine, and if your eyes look cockeyed, definitely move them to where you like them. Maybe you like them closer together or further apart, or your nose in a different place. But once you're happy, we're going to just put the backs on those. Excuse me, sorry I spent so much time doing that monkey the last couple days. I think I'm losing my voice, so I apologize for all my throat clearing. I don't realize I'm about to do it until I do it. And it doesn't sound that great for you guys to have to listen to. All right. We might as well put a little bit of stuffing in his ears right now. So grab your stuffing. We're just going to put a little bit at a time, especially if you're doing the smaller bunny, because you don't want to stretch your stitches. And a really great tip I've received is to use the end of your scissors when you have a small little spot. So I want to make sure it's all the way to the tip of the ear, and then just loosely let it kind of fall in there. So let's grab another chunk for the other ear. Okay, get that stuffed up there in the top. Try and make sure it's about the same as the other one. And if you want it to be more like a peep, remember you want it to be more flatter than rounder. So I'm just going to put a little bit more up into the ear just with my finger, so there's no lumps there. This one doesn't need quite as much, I guess. Hardly needs any at all. And then I'm going to stuff the top of the head a bit. When you're stuffing around these posts, you want to make sure they're staying nice and flat and not, you know, twisting up or down or to the side. So a good way to keep that from happening is to just kind of go out to the sides and around them, and then if you have to go behind them, because it will kind of change the way they look if you end up getting them twisted. And if you have to, just pull them out and straighten them again. And that should be lots of stuffing for now. And you'll notice I'm pushing it out to the side to give his cheeks more of an emphasis. All right, let's get our hook back in. Okay, row 16, we are going to start with 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to do 2 increases. So 1 increase, 2 increases. Then we're going to do 6 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to do 2 increases. So 1 increase and 2 increases. Whoops. And then we should have 2 single crochets to finish off the row. 1, 2. Row 17, we are going to start with 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to do 2 increases, 1 and 2 in the same stitch, and then another increase, 1 and 2 in the same stitch, and then we're going to do 8 single crochets across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 2 increases. So 1 increase and 2 increases. And then we should have 3 single crochets to finish off the row. 1, 2, 3. Row 18, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, oopsie, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 19, we're going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 20, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 21, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 22, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 23, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that same pattern all the way around for a total of 18. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and a decrease for 3. And then just repeat that sequence around. 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, 8, decrease for 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, 13, 14, decrease for 15, 16, 17, and our last decrease for 18. Okay, we only have a couple rows left, so let's grab our stuffing and finish stuffing up the little body. All right, so if you haven't already, you want to finish off stuffing these cheeks, and remember, I made this one so that it was looked more like a peep. So if you want it to look like a peep, you're going out to the sides and trying to keep it on the flatter side. So we're just going to push those cheeks out in the head. If you are trying to make it rounder and probably a tad cuter, then you're going to want to make it push out his face and the back of his head to make him more rounder. So I've got the head done, and now I'm going to do the same thing with the body. I want to push my stuffing to the sides and kind of hold him flat so he's looking like this instead of like this. But you can do this. I will show you on the next row what you can do if you want him to have a more round body. So just get those sides poofed out, and I just pull it to each side as I put more in. I tend to be overstuffing them lately. Like this one's already bigger than my purple and green one. All right, I think that's good for now. So if you're happy, I've just about got them full. But I'm going to add a little bit at the end, just to make it a little easier for me to fit him in the camera view. So get your hook back in. Now, if you do want him to have a more flat bottom so that he doesn't tip over, you're going to go in the back loops for this row. So instead of going under both sides of that V, you're going to come down in between the V's and go out and do the exact same stitches, but you're only catching that back loop. And then you won't want to put much more stuffing in here because he's already flat on the bottom. And then your next row will just be exactly the same as what I'm doing. And I'll just show you the difference here between, so if you want to have the rounded like a peep, and that's what it'll look like. And then if you want to have the flat bottom going in the back loops, that's what it'll look like. So I'll let you decide how you want to do that. But for us, if you're making him flat like a normal peep, for row 24, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around. So 1 single crochet, 1 decrease for 2, 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, oops, a little stuffing there, we don't want that, decrease for 8, 9, decrease for 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. Now we have 1 more row left, so if you need to put your stuffing in now, do that. I'm going to do it on my last row, which is row 25, and we're going to do 6 decreases. So 1 decrease, 2 decreases, 3 decreases, 4 decreases, 5 decreases, and 6 decreases. And then we're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch and tie that off. I've only been doing one time, but feel free to do it 2 times if you need it a little more secure. Then we're going to cut that end, leaving enough of a tail to close the bottom. I'm going to take my stitch marker out. Add a little bit more stuffing. And again, I grab my scissors because this is the best tip I have ever found. There's probably a little too much stuffing, but we'll see. Oh, maybe not. So see, I'm still pushing it to the sides a bit. And make sure if you wanted yours to sit, that you have yours more flatter like that. And I am squishing mine down so he's more like a little Peep. And then let's close him up. Got the wrong needle here. So thread your needle. And all I'm going to do, you see these holes here? If you had done invisible decreases, they would not show up so much like that. But it takes me a while to do it, so I just went regular. So I'm just weaving in and out these top loops of our last row till I get around to where I started. And then I'm just going to give that a tighten. And I go into the next stitch and I'm going to tie a knot. Tie it twice if you need to. And then we'll just try and get in the center there somewhere. And put it out the back, or if you want to hang it, you can put it out the top, but we still have to deal with this. So if you want to put it out the top, you can leave it for now and put it out later. I'm going to take mine out the back, somewhere around the neck, pull it so that little knot pops in, and then squish it back into shape, and we'll give that a cut. Now, I forgot to mention to leave your tail for your ear on the outside. I will put that in yellow writing across the top when I get into editing. So if yours is on the inside, hopefully you've seen that note and it's on the outside now. If not, you're just going to have to find your knot and then dig around with your hook and pull it out. And all we're going to do to close this up is just weave in and out of these 2 or 3 stitches between the ears. Usually I'll do it on the inside before we decrease, but I couldn't get the eyes on at the same time, so I thought I'd do it this way. And this is a good way if you've forgotten to do that and you're like, how am I going to close that now? Just close it on the outside. So once you feel like you've got that hole closed, I'm going to bring mine back one more time, so I'm tying it in the back instead of in the front. And just pick a stitch that's you can kind of hide it under. I'm going to pick this one. Tie 1 or 2 knots. Really? Okay. And then just try and hide that down inside the hole beside where you tied and come out somewhere around the neck. Hold that so you can pull your knot to the inside and then give it a cut. Let's get my other one out here. And there we go. We're getting a little crew here. I hope you have enjoyed crocheting with me and making these little bunnies. And if you have, please hit the subscribe button and click the bell. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as any likes, comments, and shares are always appreciated. And as always, take care, be safe, and happy crocheting.